Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined without a MacBook Air, so podcasting should be all good to go. We are joined with Mike and Randy today. Randy, I'm just not even going to try to segue this. You told us over 90 minutes ago that you had a surprise. And now I'm terribly excited. I can't wait any longer.
Don't be excited. Don't be excited.
Oh, okay.
The excitement is, for the first time in over a month, I am trying one last time with the iPad Pro.
Oh, it exists.
I updated it. It does exist. I updated it to the latest version during EV, because we record EV first, and so I've been with this iPad for about 20 minutes now, and I have some thoughts.
You're trying again.
Okay, let me. That's a bit clickbaity there.
Getting back with your ex, I guess.
No, my ex has always been less abusive than this thing. So I ran a poll that got a lot of traction, more than I thought. Normally I get like maybe somewhere between 20 and 50 votes. This thing got, I think, like over 150 for the duration.
I voted.
Yeah. Oh, and you gave.
Where's your sticker?
I got good feedback. Where's the sticker? I am at a weird place in my life with iPad, and I wanted to approach it from not Randy Vasquez, co-host of the Tailosive Tech Podcast. I'm approaching it as like a guy who, lives the rest of his life with other things, and I have certain tech in my life, and how does this work for me? And the feedback was very diverse of the responses. I ran the poll on Twitter, and very few people have expressed that they use their iPad as their main device. Most people who said keep the iPad, or keep an iPad, voted to sell this one and downgrade to a mini. And that was in the lead for a long time, where I was like, ooh, and I was like, well, maybe we're not reading the room right here. I just wanted to, but I was taking it like, okay, this is what you would do in my situation. Okay, fair enough. But then not very quickly, but about maybe a couple hours in, I saw the turned tides. I purposely screwed that up. I saw the tides turn, and I saw sell it. Buy.
People
were telling me to sell it. And what I wanted to kind of now get a little bit more personal experience with you guys, one from actually both extremes that you would share with me, Drew being as a creator, Mike being as someone who uses it more as a consumer. I'm the hybrid of you two for different reasons, and I don't know why I need it anymore. So, with all that context being said, the last thing that the iPad did for me personally, and why I brought it out of retirement to try it one more time, is there was only 2 times in 2022 I needed it for like basically life or death in my IRL life. One, I need a wet signature, meaning I needed actually a signature, not a digital signature. And using an Apple Pencil and everything, that does count as a wet signature because it's my handwriting.
I just do it on my phone and dip it in the water.
That works. That IP68 rating, hey, it works. It works.
No, it's wet.
So I have to sign, legal documents, and the only way that went a little above that, where even the iPad can save me, is when I needed a notary present to watch me sign something. But then that's a whole different process. But there's one time I needed to do a wet signature, and I don't think I was able to do it on my phone. So I broke out the iPad. The other thing was I used the iPad's the Procreate app, and I used that for all album art I've ever made for any of my instrumental albums or singles anything like that. Album art that I put out to streaming have all been done on the iPad. But there's a Pocket version for the iOS version, which is called Pocket, and I use that one for all things, YouTube related anyway. Ever since I've been running the beta with iOS 16, I drag and drop. I either use Over or GoDaddy Studio or whatever it's called.
I still call it Over too.
It's Over.
I hate the new name.
It's Over to me. I will call it Over. I will use Over or I will use Pocket, but I'm lifting a PNG. The thing about Pocket is that it masks out everything before, and I can, erase things a little bit more granularly. But iOS's version of lifting a subject is so clean that, like you, Drew, I was like, let me see how this works, and maybe just use my phone for everything. And I haven't looked back at all. So I've gone almost 2 months without using the iPad up until.
Well, this is an iPad mini. Honestly.
It is an iPad mini with more.
These things are huge.
Yeah. So here's why I am trying it one more time now. I am trying the Talos of Tech approach to something intentionally, where for the last month, last 3 weeks, I have used only this screen with this webcam on my MacBook Pro as my primary display, and I've hit limitations with it. So the screen size is not that different from a 12.9 inch and this 14 inch with iPad and MacBook. That will me using the universal control, going back and forth and all that stuff. How would that help with my workflow? An iPad can't do what we're doing right now to run this show, to record. So immediately it can never be a replacement to the MacBook today. But for everything else that does not have to do with this now, can I find this to be an applicable alternative because I'm no longer using my ultra-wide monitor? And if I find myself still not using it or forcing myself to use it, I'm being very cognitive about how I'm behaving with it, then I'm just going to get rid of it. If I find I need it just for the screen real estate of downsizing from a monitor to the MacBook screen, I'll probably just hold on to it, and kind of what you've addressed with yourself, Drew, I would probably just, that's it. Like, I'll hold on to it, and when it's gone or dies, whatever, then it's dead and all that. Because people have brought up, sell it now, you'll never get it at a better price. It's only going to get cheaper or harder to sell. You only get less money. And it's not about the money. It's just about downsizing everything as much as possible. I just want one device. I just want most likely my MacBook be the main thing, and a pair of AirPod Pros that have good battery. And I'm a happy guy for 90% of my online or tech experience. Everything else is when I'm in creative mode, but that's always an exception. So
I like how you don't count the iPhone and watch as devices. Those are just part of you. Those are my body.
Yeah, that's me.
This is my
I
body.
mean, we're not going to get barbaric about it, Drew.
Good old Mark of the Beast right there.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
The lifeline is the mark. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm not going to get rid of the phone. I'm not getting rid of my watch.
Those are not up for debate.
No.
So you were saying, like, I just want one device, and I knew what you meant, but it still made me laugh.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, M1 chip, and I know where Marquez was going. He put out a video this week. I know where he's going at with everything, but having an M1 chip and just giving me Stage Manager, just like I can't. The part that I can't ignore, and this is hyper specific for maybe just us or people like us, is that I need to stream, or I need to record. I need OBS. I need Discord to do all of this, and I can get files over to you, and we can, do our stuff. And then on my own stuff too. Like, I need to be able to properly export a file and have a file be able to be sent for distribution if I'm going to submit a song. I can't do that on the iPad. It's physically impossible. The OS doesn't recognize, there's no workaround for that. So Mac OS has to be it. But I spent like $1,000 or closer to $1,200-$1,300 now with all the accessories, with the keyboard and the pencil and the iPad. I can't act like that's not nothing. So I'm trying. I'm giving it a try, and I'm gonna pretend I don't hate it. I'm gonna pretend iPad is everything that I've ever loved. Can you see the pain in my eyes?
I'm gonna pretend I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Well, Mike's actually used the iPad Mini 6 the longest out of all of us. Do you think it's worth downgrading to, Mike, or do you think you should just go without iPad?
With those only 2 cases of life or death situation that you described, Randy, of having to give a wet signature and all that, I don't think it's necessarily a big need. I think there's actually probably somehow, or not even somehow, there are apps that you could probably do a wet signature on your iPhone with. So you could get around it. I don't think necessarily you need an iPad. And going forward, I don't know if you really need it, but to sell it is tough as well, because I just think the possibility of the life change that you're going through soon with adding another person to the household is they might be able to doodle on that iPad or do whatever, and keeping it for that long, you're not really going to care if it's got a whole bunch of crayon or Play-Doh stuck into it at that point, because it served its purpose for the time that you had it. So for keeping it for that future sake, I think is a better idea. If you want to sell it just to out of sight, out of mind, get rid of this weird iPad thing that doesn't serve a purpose anymore, go for it. But from at least the potential of what it could be used as a drawing / entertainment device for the kid, not to say that they should be glued to it 24/7. I think playing outside is definitely a good idea for a kid, but for the times when you want to enjoy your TV and the kid wants to enjoy their TV, the iPad works as a great alternative. So I guess I'm choosing to keep it, but you don't really need it, I guess. So I don't know.
Let me throw a caveat at you, and let me see if this changes your feedback. Then
Don't
What
throw
if
it
I
at me.
sold
Hand it to me. Don't throw it at me.
Kids should not be glued to iPads all day. They should be glued to Macs all day, because Macs are much, much more capable and they can get a lot more work done. Okay, I'm
Like
done.
an iMac.
Throw back your pencil.
I sell everything but the pencil, and I hold on to the
Ooh.
pencil for the possibility of treating an iPad like an iPad, and I do, say it with me, Drew's favorite word, refurbished. iPad
Certified refurbished. Oh, I was thinking it, and then you said it. Let me look.
Mini. I know. Hey, man, we've been doing it for so long. I can have an invisible conversation with you and hit all your points and
It's an
agree with
invisible
you.
conversation.
Yeah, they have refurbished Air 4s.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I would prefer a Mini because
Yeah.
I
No,
want
for sure.
I want as less amount of money out of my pocket as possible, and an iPad
Yes.
is really just an iPad, and that would serve it because it's an entertainment thing. Now, Mike, and I say this, and I throw the caveat now at you because
Don't throw it at
Mike
me.
has an Apple Pencil as well. Okay,
got
won't
two
throw
of
it
them.
at you. He's got two
He
of
has
them.
more.
Why
Yeah.
I'll never. Okay, so
I know why.
Mike is using
I
a
know
little.
Why, Mike?
All right. Let's try to derail me as much as possible as I keep moving forward. You know, that's fine.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'm getting quiet.
You doodle. You kind of play around with it. And if I needed to actually like do a signature, an iPad Mini would knock it out just as fine as
Easy
a
peasy.
$1,200, or $1,700 iPad Pro. But yeah, I think anything that needs a signature, that would be like a document that's not like an e-sign situation. I mean, equivalent to like a markup in photos. If you move the file over, you can just sign with your finger. Just like there, I don't need this for signatures, and I'm not a drawer, but I do find utility in the Apple Pen. Out of everything the iPad has come out of its little ecosystem, the pencil is my favorite thing by far.
Yep.
And
That's its exclusive.
it's
It's not on anything else.
and I love it. But be that as it may, that was just me. Like if I kept the pencil as a just in case, I go back to it. I'm not trying to like sever ties complete with iPad, but I am in a downsizing period in my life where I chose to only work off of this screen now on the MacBook because it's good enough. I want to practice the good enough approach, what my wife does, what normal people with healthy relationships to their tech, what they do. I've been trying to practice that ethos. So if you're watching the podcast, I am filming in a different angle this time in my house, just because I don't want to be in an office cooped up all day. I'm trying to be more cognitive, more conscious, and be smarter with my tech decisions. And I am intentionally restraining myself because good enough still gets the job done. And I will always fight that diminishing return point where, like, I can get all the studio lights into this and that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, just because we have 50,000 downloads a week on our episodes doesn't make it worth it.
Flexing those numbers.
Subtle.
I guess here's a
Really
question
subtle.
that probably you guys could test out. If you're really so gung-ho on getting rid of the iPad, another possible solution that came up in my mind is the iOS 16 press and hold feature to like mask out a specific object. I wonder if you could do that with a signature on a white piece of paper. So you take like a regular pen or pencil, sign on a white piece of paper, and then take a picture of it with your iPhone, and you're able to lift that, and then it's now a signature that you can lift into whatever document you want.
I will say,
viewers at home can try that. I don't have
that
it,
should
so
be a thing.
I can't.
Isn't it?
I could give that a try. What I will say is, wow, 12 years ago.
Wow.
Wow. I'm thinking about, I got my first MacBook, my first Mac, like OS or OS 10 at the time, 12 years ago. And back then, you could sign with your finger on the trackpad. And so under my iCloud account, I do have a digital signature that's a wet signature that I can drag and drop anywhere. So if I needed to provide a wet signature, I just go to the markup in the, what's it called, the preview app. And then when I go to markup and I have the little toolbox, I can drag and drop my signature into it because it's still the same signature. My signature hasn't changed over the last 12 years. So I'm able to drop it in that way. And so I don't even need my phone in that situation. So it's not even a need for it. But what you're describing, Mike, that's what that pre-saved signature does for me. And it does count as a wet signature. I've done many bank applications and stuff like that using that.
So I guess my question
format.
is, why keep the iPad at this point if that feature already exists with iCloud?
Because I like the Apple Pencil and what I'm able to do with Procreate and Over. And the
How much do you use it though? Like, how do you see or foresee yourself using it in the next year or so? Or is it worth it necessarily if you're trying to get rid of all these devices that you're not using?
That's
anymore?
what my testing with iOS 16 beta has been about, is how much can I break away? Because before iOS 16, I was using it for almost every single photo. Unless I would say this is an unedited photo and I post it to Instagram or something, I do some type of markup, some type of clarity or cleanup because I like the color grading aspect of it. I wish I was a better drawer. Like, if I could draw, I this would have never been a conversation. I'm not good at that. That's not a strength of mine. But I'm very good at editing photos and making them do certain, things for me. So, in that sense, pre-iOS 16, all the time, I would break it out, even if it was just for once or twice a week. I would block out about 30 minutes to an hour, and I would work on a batch of photos and stuff like that, get them cleaned up and ready to go. Because, I don't like to pay for things. And so apps that do like cool little collages, watermark it, but then I have a tool to erase the watermark. And so, like, I take my time with it, and I'm trying to make them as clean as possible. I did a restoration on my Marine Corps boot camp photo that was completely damaged on the iPad, and I saved it. Now it looks like a brand new image, and it was so good that I was able to take it over to a UPS or a FedEx, get that thing printed in like a huge size because a family member wanted that so they can have their wall of, family things. So I was able to do that because of the iPad. So the iPad saved something that was effectively gone forever. I don't have another copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a sentimental attachment to the iPad that I have for it doing these type of real life applicable things for me. And could I found another way on the iPhone? Probably. But the fact is that I did it because of an Apple Pencil, and that's really cool. So it does have its purpose, and I already paid the money. I'm not paying for it. I'm already out the money. So at this point, it's like I'm not hurting anything but that tick in my brain about downsizing and minimalism, I hate having it. I genuinely hate having one more thing I got to carry around, be accounted for, do inventory on. I hate it. One more software I got to make sure backed up or up to date, or it's not compromised on this or what. I hate that stress. I love the idea of just a phone in my pocket, because who's not going to have a phone, and just using this MacBook. I've felt so much happier. I've been off of social media a lot lately, and I'm so much happier and at peace. And with the iPad, it was kind of my, oh, well, it's right there. I might just keep Discord open as a side window, or Twitter. And I hate that feeling. I feel so much freer. I feel like I'm going through a detox right now. So this is me. I'm in a transitionary period, with myself and in my life right now. And the iPad is one of those things where it's like I come to you guys and to our tech enthusiasts about what to do, because Drew has probably the smarter approach to it. It's like, well, I mean, it's there. I'll just keep it. But it is what it is. But as he's made comments about it, it just exists. It's there. And
I have that tick too, though. I have that same thing where I hate knowing it's there, and I hate thinking about something else in the house to worry about, or something else in the ecosystem that's just kind of sitting around. And I'm tempted to sell it, but last time I tried to sell it, it was hard to find a good buyer, and all the prices were so low. It was like, well, why even bother at this point trying to sell? It's just becoming a headache to deal with the annoying messages every day of people that are interested but not that interested. So we just kind of gave up on selling it. But I think, just for the sake of tech testing, I'm okay keeping it around. If iPad OS 17 comes out and does something a little different, just to have something to showcase it on. And I feel like that's most people. Everyone kind of has like an iPad around, regardless of if they use it a lot. Some people use it for their daily or for work or for their business, and I'm happy for those people. If you can live with the iPad and that's enough for you, I'm super duper grateful. That's awesome. I hope
I'm
it
jealous.
works for you. And I'm jealous too. I wish I could justify it. Because I think they're cool. I think the concept of a 2-in-1 has just never really been done right. But the iPad Pro is the closest I've seen to it being done right. Of just like, you've got amazing hardware, and it's really thin and it's really light, and you can detach it, and the Apple Pencil's great, and I love the Face ID, and I love the connectivity of the hardware is just fantastic. And it's just sucks that the software doesn't really catch up to my workflow. But if it has caught up to your workflow, then that's wonderful. I would agree with Randy. I'd even say I'm jealous of the people that can make that work. If you could do everything off of an iPad, all the better to you. That's wonderful. But for our workflows and for our lifestyles, I guess it's just not enough. But hopefully that changes someday. I don't think it's going to be soon, but I have.
It's with the M2 next month or in 2 months from
Lord.
now.
Yes.
That's when we get it.
Once it gets that 10% performance increase, they suddenly can unlock every use case.
But then it
you can
overheats and
imagine.
becomes a pancake. A very hot pancake.
The
on your
eye
lap, at least.
pancake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably the issue.
I don't know. I've got two of them. I've got the old 12.9, or one of the biggest ones that still has a fingerprint
that's
ID
it.
or whatever. And I use that basically as a note sheet for the piano. And it's perfect because I can just swipe through different lines for the piano. And I don't use it too much because it's hard for me to find time to play the piano. But
that's by far the biggest iPad ever made.
Yeah,
the one you have,
and it works great for that purpose.
It's not the thin bezeled one; it's the big forehead, big chin, but still 12.9 inches. It's this giant tablet. But that's good.
I kind of get it as well.
That's what
It's
you
this
want.
giant rectangle sitting in your office, just like taking up space, mocking you, like, you bought me, why aren't you using me, and all that.
You bought me.
Yeah, you bought me, use me, right? Do something. And you're like, I don't have any
Gotcha.
need. Yeah,
Gotcha.
There's no need. So I kind of get as well, like, maybe downgrading to the iPad mini might negate that large voice into a smaller voice or whatever, or maybe not as much as a nagging voice necessarily.
You got me. You buy it for me.
Use the Apple Pencil. Sign a signature. Something like that. I get that. And
Good iPad mini voice.
if that kind of alleviates some of that stress or maybe that nagging feeling in the back of your head, then go for it. Go for the mini. I've looked at certified refurbished, and unfortunately, there's no minis available.
There's no minis yet.
No, which is a little bit surprising.
I don't think they've done it yet.
No, I'm
but
looking
they
at it
will.
right now. But if you really want to downgrade to a mini, you can. It's just going to cost you a decent amount. I think the cheapest I could spec it out for is like $500. So if you could sell your iPad right now for
Air 4 would be cheaper refurbished.
yeah, but if you want to go small, I think that's the issue with Rand is he wants to go a little bit smaller, a little bit more pocketable in a way, something that he could take wherever and doodle on it in the car, and it's not a giant thing that he has to stick in the glove box that barely fits, or in between the seats or something like that that slides out when he accelerates in his 3. He probably wants something like a mini that you can put in the glove box, or
Put your iPad Pro in between the seats now and just forget about it.
that could work too. I mean, that's what I usually do with mine. I take mine in my bag, or I put it in the glove box of the car so that when I'm supercharging or something else, I've got the time. And of course, I'm going to look at the iPad, even though there's a nice big display in the Model Y. I can still put media on there.
And you can draw on it.
Yeah, there you go.
I do all my wet signatures in my car because it
the
has
draw
the big touchscreen. Yeah, if you need to sign something, just
So I don't know. I guess it's more of if it's that much of an issue of having it around existing in your house, and it's that much of annoyance, get rid of it. But if you feel like you could just stash it away and it's not going to be an issue, and you can save it for your future kid, or do something else with it for the 1 or 2 times they use it during the year, and you think that's worth keeping the iPad, go for it. Keep it. But
I'm partly the problem too, though. Like, it's not that it needs to leave. It's I have a weird tick about holding on to things. When I was younger, people that I lived with had a really bad hoarder mentality, and they no one ever got rid of anything. And when I became older and I went out on my own, and I learned that that's not normal, and I felt like this sense of literal freedom from it. I've always, it was before the word, the trendy word of minimalism became a thing. Like that's what drives me, is that like that sense of anxiety of being surrounded by so much crap, and always having a justification for it, for stuff that you really don't need. And one thing that I actually had a conversation with people in my Discord this past week. There was like, I think a total of 12 people all at once. We were in this voice chat, and I proposed this whole iPad thing to them just because I wanted to gauge if this was something I wanted to bring up with you guys. This is before I ran a poll. I just wanted to see, and everybody was like, "Get the new one, get the." And I realized that like sometimes I feel like in context that because these guys know me from stuff like this, the show, and I don't want to promote bad habits. And there's a point where like it's okay to let go of something. And I feel like maybe I always I ride the hype because the hype is genuine. I get excited for the new tech and stuff like that, but it should not control you. And that's been our long going like moral battles that we've all have fought over the past couple of years, is about like it controlling you and stuff like that. And it's an addiction. And I don't want to become this thing that I remember living in as a kid and just having all this old tech, this old crap surrounding me. Like, no, because one day they might need this. Like when the time comes and my kid needs to watch something on his iPad, there might be a better iPad. Like I could go get something. If it's that serious, we'll probably get it then. And there's no point of, holding on to something. But I say I'm the problem because as it is today, if I put logic into this now, a fully fine,
Logic Pro.
capable iPad is right here with the latest software, still getting latest updates. I got a 256 gig not even half of it, so still can hold stuff locally. And I don't run, iCloud on it, so everything that I do on there is local to it. The keyboard's fine, the Apple Pencil's fine, the FaceTime's fine. Everything about the thing is fine. For 2018 and going forward, this has been my favorite hardware up until the MacBook Pro came out. I love everything about this. I just don't like the software, and so my breakup with it started with last year's iPad OS. So I'm like, man, all right, I'm over it. But that was more emotionally driven, where now it's like, okay, I accept that we're not going to get what we want from iPad because it has to meet this middle ground.
Mm-hmm.
So where does this middle ground fit in my life today with the latest MacBook and the latest iPhone and not the latest iPad? I've bought the iPad in 2018, future-proofing it, thinking, oh my God, the writing's on the wall. How could it not approach it? It's the first USB-C thing that's not a MacBook. Oh my, how could you not? And now it's like, oh, that's how you could not. Okay, so where do you fit? So logically, I'm having this conversation with myself now for a while that I'm going to try and figure out, like, do you fit in my life now? Because if you don't, and I can I can come to peace with that, then I can get rid of it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's a very nice piece of hardware all around, through and through. I love the magnetic clip. I love that it wirelessly charged through a different USB, still opening up the USB-C for something else if I wanted to. I love all of that. If I needed to dock it and plug it into something, cool, but I don't want to force it to stick around. So this is at least for this week's episode, this is you guys are watching this internal conflict, the battle of maybe a possible detoxing. Because I've never downsized.
Yes.
I never got away from an Apple OS of something. I still got Apple TV over here. I got all these other OSs of everything. And now I'm over here like, cut the tie. Like, do I need to? Do I want to be what I'm trying to preach? Or do I want to be fair to the iPad and say, okay, you're not going to replace my MacBook, but do you have a place in my life now? I should give it that chance first to see, does it fit as it is now? Because as it stands, Mac OS, man, I love the MacBook. I love Mac OS. Everything that I do with the iPad, I could do on the Mac, and the Mac is the greatest thing I'm a Mac boy through and through again. Like I have never been happier. The longer I use this with the ProMotion display, with the all things everything, I am the happiest customer. I'm more I don't show it the way Drew shows it, but I could probably make a case that I'm more excited about my MacBook than he is about his. So,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who is the bigger
Yeah.
Apple sheep now?
You went there.
Who's the bigger who's the bigger what?
Apple sheep now.
Me.
Mm.
This
He is.
MacBook is an 11 out of 10. It could do no wrong. I love everything about it. I'm using MagSafe right now as we speak, even though it charges it to 100%. I don't care.
As am I, and I'm also using the onboard microphone because I'm happy enough
Hey,
with that onboard, and I'm using AirPods.
don't you dare.
Well, they started.
I told you that in confidence. I'm using this mic because of Kika. Last week she was
I know.
have a
woofing. She
5S.
made the bloopers.
It's a nice phone.
If
And
you
mine
guys
is a
watch-
5S.
Yeah, he has a 5S. I have my 5S too. Yeah.
Check out its
you ever
case.
you ever been so embarrassed that your dog made the bloopers both times last week? That was, so I'm using this mic today because I felt bad. I don't want people listening and then whoop 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 going on. So
There's less bloopers in today's episode.
actually,
I guess.
here, let me counter that.
But-
I love the Mac so much that I'm able to run something like this off of it and still be completely independent and isolated. Boom. We're both using the webcam though.
We are both on the webcam.
We're all on
That's
webcam.
fair.
And we're all going to be
Yeah.
using our phones as the webcam soon too.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, once Ventura's out, that would be perfect.
Yep.
I think that would look even better. I don't know if I'll get the mount thingy though.
You could always
I think
get
I'd
a
rather
third-party one or do something else. I mean, you've already proved, Drew, from your streams that you can mount it anywhere. You don't even have to mount it.
Yeah.
You could just lean it up against something and it'll work. You just don't really get to use
can hold
the desk view thing.
I could lean it against the front of the display. I guess that would be bad. It's just gonna make cringy Apple metal scratching sounds.
On the
Like
glass.
on your iPhone.
There
goes
is
against
one
your MacBook.
thing the Mac is missing that would make it instantly kill iPad for me personally. And this is something, it's not new. We've all talked about it at some point or another. The only thing that Mac is missing is cellular connectivity.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going a different
Same.
direction with that. But that is weird. I thought you were going to say center stage,
Oh,
but...
I was thinking touchscreen.
Bravo. Now, give me cellular connectivity. I don't care about.
I wouldn't use it, but it should be there.
I would use it. I found myself needing it. Especially imagine Drew. Imagine. Can I make a case for it for you? Why
No.
you would use it?
Okay, well, just keep in mind my context is hotspot. What is wrong with hotspotting?
I'm going to tell you.
That's-
I got
that's
you.
my solution.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you. Yes.
That's my caveat.
All right. You would want a MacBook with cellular because eventually you're moving your studio into your car. And imagine filming a streaming or even recording as this is your primary connected because of Ventura. You're able to use this as your camera and you could do everything that you need to do. And while you're streaming, this is not going to be doing the hotspot. This is now your camera, but your MacBook would keep you connected. And say, okay, so that streaming, that's the streaming thing. If you're making like edited videos or what have you, now you can use the good cameras, put to the side. You'll have OBS open, and you can see how you're working, operating, and now you're filming whatever you want to film, whether it's EV or tech related, and you can change your background, get you out of the house. They say, "Oh, Drew, you're looking a little pale," so now you're going out there exploring the world because you're going to travel anyway, and you're going to be working while you're traveling. Now you have the means to work, and you're even more disconnected with the cables. You're more mobile, and with the connectivity, are you going to have the fastest speeds? No, but are you going to have a problem? No, not really. So just like you got a wall outlet that you can plug in just in case, and now you're uploading your video to YouTube. You will make it work, and you're able to you're that much freer from a cable because we still like the idea of being cable free as much as possible. So when you have your studio at the ready, your office is there. You're plugged in. You're doing what you got to do, and you got that routine down. You've been doing it for years. But then, as your life changes and you're out and you're traveling and you're doing your road trips, it's one less thing. Oh my God, I need to find internet. You have internet with you everywhere you go. So that's on the context that now you don't have to pack your camera. You got your phone as your camera, and you've been filming all your tech stuff on your phone, and it looks phenomenal. I love it. I don't care that it's only
No, it's a great camera.
I love it. Everything about it. So now you have the greatest preview screen right here as you're filming. You could see everything. You got your promotion. You got your mini LED. We just need the cellular connectivity, and you're a free man.
That's a good argument. Yeah, that's a pretty good use case, I could imagine. I think hotspot a hotspot doesn't require wires. I can still tether. It would just be a little bit more prone to overheating, I guess. And you could argue it's bad for the battery, but if I'm in the car, I have power anyway, so that's not a problem. But my bigger issue would be I would have to find a carrier that supports cellular on the MacBooks because Mint doesn't currently offer that. They don't even do cellular on watches. T-Mobile does, but they're going to cost a heck of a lot more than Mint does. So is the extra expense worth the added capability?
Well, you're not going to be.
I don't know.
You're not going to be around your T-Mobile home internet. I'm giving you the context of you not being home.
Starlink.
Oh yeah.
Just
Didn't Starlink go up
Starlink
like
Mobile.
$50 or $70 or something more?
10.
10.
It's only $10.
How has Starlink been though?
How has it been?
I'm curious.
How have you been?
I've seen people posting speed tests on the subreddit lately with faster upload speeds, and I'm kind of like, oh dang, I wish I could try it. I wonder if the live streaming capability has improved since I used it.
It's been fine. Nothing new since last week or the week before that I've reported. As maybe y'all can tell from the podcast, the conversation goes pretty smoothly in regards to me not being dropped because of Starlink disconnecting, even though initially we cut back some trees and it was a better connection. And now some of that growth has come back and it's gotten a little bit spotty. It's still maintaining a connection pretty well. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the amount of satellites that SpaceX is putting up almost every week.
Yeah, they put up a lot.
They're putting up a whole bunch of satellites. And that's only the V1. That's not even the V2 satellites that have the laser connectivity capability and all that. They're not shining lasers down at us to kill us or anything like that. It's not Death Star level technology.
We don't know that yet. We'll find out.
Well, wait. I guess I'll be the epicenter, right? Because they'll target they'll know I'm here and then shoot me.
You may fire when ready.
Oh, thanks.
You may fire.
Director Krennig. It's been fine. Though I think the mobile version of it would be a nice idea for this mobile rig that you're thinking of with the Tesla, Drew. Being able to tether your Mac to that dish and be wherever you want. You may not get the best connection where you're at because, like it's been said before, a lot of those slots have been filled in that area. So to be able to go wherever you want, in which if you already have the car, you already have that capability of going places for less cost. And then to have that dish with you to give your editing rig and streaming rig, being the MacBook, that capability of doing it wherever you want in the United States, I think is a whole lot better option than giving or waiting or I guess advocating for Apple to give it cellular. It'd be nice, but that's not a solution right now. The current solution is get something like a hotspot or I guess a Starlink to give it that connection wherever you are. And the weekly launches that SpaceX is doing right now only ensures that that reality will stay a reality for a long time, unless some catastrophic event happens. But then we've got bigger fish to fry if that happens.
Yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about that. But, I would have to compare pricing on what, just because there's mobile hotspot things you can buy that just turn into Wi-Fi networks using cellular. I think even the 5G gateway can do that we already have. I would just need to provide power for it. I think I just need a little inverter for the 12 volt in the car, and that could convert it to a 110. So I could toy around with that because I've had friends that go on trips and they take their T-Mobile home gateway with them, and it just keeps the Wi-Fi running. So that might be cheaper.
Cool.
I know.
That is so cool.
That's an amazing thing. But I'm all in favor of the option being there, even if I can't justify it or I can't find a carrier that I like that offers that, because Mint Mobile is just so insanely cheap, and I'm voting with my wallet on principles. I like Mint Mobile for that reason.
I like Ryan Reynolds, so you know.
And I love Ryan Reynolds. To watch all his movies.
Hello there. Have you ever
got
got tired of spending so much? Well, here at Mint Mobile, we are going to cut the cost even more during inflations. Like, that's great marketing. Oh my God,
Stuck in your brain.
Yeah.
Deflationary.
Yeah.
Cuts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand what about the iPad has worse thermals, it has worse battery life,
Yeah.
but the same silicon as the Mac, and yet it gets cellular and the Mac doesn't. Like, I still don't get their logic there. Why is that an iPad feature? Like, what's the argument that iPads are used more on the go than MacBooks are? Like, the MacBook Air is lighter than an iPad Pro plus Magic Keyboard case, I think. That's not a thin, light machine once it's got its pencil and its keyboard case surrounding it. That's a heavy, thick little thing.
It adds up.
So, yeah, maybe they're waiting on making their own modems. They've been rumored to do that for several years. I think it's been delayed, but I think in like 2024 2024 or 2025 they'll be designing their own in-house modems, and maybe they'll bake that right into the chip.
I'll
it'll
tell
be
you
part
that
of the-
much. If that is true,
Okay.
perfect. It gives me enough time with this Mac because I don't want to get rid of this
Yeah.
Mac. That's the thing. I want it to come out for everybody else, not for me personally. I'm a homebody right now, so it doesn't really mean that much to me. It'd be nice to have it.
Sure.
If I can ever get an option with it, I will get it. But if we're waiting it longer for selfish reasons, then it gives me that much more time with this Mac because I don't want to get rid of this Mac.
Me neither.
and it's only going to get better. The speaker systems of the MacBook Pro are absolutely phenomenal. The battery's phenomenal. The light, the dynamic range of the colors and the lighting is phenomenal. Everything about this thing is. I've changed my own mind about getting a studio display because I like this so much. Because the problem with the studio display that I found myself like is that I don't care about promotion. It's cool to have, but I care.
Promotion doesn't care about you.
Yeah, it doesn't. But I do care
Doesn't care at all.
about the dynamic range of the colors and the brightness. That's something that I actually like a lot. And I'm not talking about that HDR where you're blind. Look at my eyes! I don't want that. I don't want that. You can keep that turned off. Ever since you told me I could do that, Drew, I have been at peace with my phone again. I am not talking about that. But I am saying that inky blacks, vibrant purples, whatever hues, I like what I'm seeing here.
The purples.
They matter. Them purples. And them yellows.
Yes. I get what you mean.
Yeah. I want a display like this.
Like me?
With or without promotion. Yeah, like you. Like you.
As he points at the camera.
But as I point at the camera. I don't care about webcam anymore because of Ventura. I don't care about
Yeah, Ventura really has killed the need for much webcam attention, in my view.
Yeah.
That's what people are like, the M2 MacBook Air has a better webcam. It's like, use your phone on the M1 MacBook Air. That's going to be a way better webcam anyway.
If you need to take a call on your MacBook, with the lid open, the last thing you care about is the quality of it. You're not doing, you're not trying to make a pitch with a company to get this $15 million deal signed off. So you're fine. You're fine.
So me and Randy want to hold on to our Macs for a while. How about you, Mike? Are you intending to keep the 24-inch iMac long term, or do you want to make a good decision?
Almost got me there. That is the question. I did have a little bit of headache recently. I recently got a little MIDI keyboard, which I'm trying to get into frame, that was just causing the iMac a whole bunch of issue. I guess mainly just logic, but I was having to comb through, and the iMac wasn't having a happy time.
If you don't have logic, Mike, logic's not going to happen.
There's no logic.
Apparently no logic with this mechanical engineer here.
Nope.
I originally set out and got this iMac just...
Audio engineer, mother... Anyway. And guess what? I have no problems!
Because you don't do much with your... No, I'm kidding. With the iMac, it was mainly bought due to nostalgia. And it's from that childhood where I grew up with that G3 iMac. And
Good.
it had that color and that shape and all that. And that's what this new version, this 24-inch iMac, is kind of calling back to, with the colors and the white bezel and all that. And it was mainly bought in just because I needed a new computer and nostalgia kicked in as well. So it was a nice Venn diagram intersection of, yes, this is obvious. After living with it, and like I've said on previous podcasts, it would be nice to have more I/O, in which, yes, a lot of you have said in the comments, just get a USB port adapter that brings in more I/O and all that. Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. The presence of the refurbished Mac Studio is a very tempting one. It'd be nice. It would mean that I'd have to sell the iMac and get a studio display and get this refurbished Mac Studio, which isn't a bad idea, is a bad option. I would be not too far in the hole necessarily for that conversion.
Would you have to get the studio display though?
It would be nice.
You could get a different monitor.
I could get whatever monitor I want. There are a few that I've looked at that are cool, but kind of like you guys, I do like the design language that Apple brings with their displays. I like, for how controversial it is, I like this squared off metallic display that they've packaged in with the 24-inch iMac that you don't really see much of the metal because, of course, it's all white bezel and then chin that are all glossy texture and all that. But it it is a plus. So bringing that ecosystem with it, with the studio display, would be nice. And like Randy said, I'm not really one looking for that ProMotion, so it would be not an issue with the studio display, and with hints at a new ProMotion display. Maybe there's that option, likely not happening, that there is maybe a more affordable version of that past Pro display, or maybe it probably wouldn't. I don't think prices would go down for the studio display, but I don't know. It'd be a nice upgrade, in my opinion. But for now, kind of thinking about it, there is no real push to get a new Mac. Like we said in the past podcasts, the M1 chip is doing a fantastic job. And this is the base one. It's been doing a fantastic job for the past year doing podcasting. Here. There's no limitations that I've found that require me to upgrade besides I/O, in which, like many of you said, just get a multiple I/O adapter for it, which I refuse.
Hey, Mike,
No.
I got a question for you.
No answers. What's up?
No.
Would you consider, whenever the time comes, let me pose a statement. You'll know where my question is because this is how I'm looking for any accessories going forward, personally. I don't want to pay full price for anything, really, anymore when it comes to tech.
Who does?
Well, some people's like, oh, this is the greatest camera. This is the greatest promotion. If you get promotion on that Apple Watch, Drew.
Okay.
If you get promotion on that Apple Watch. No. You said who would.
Forget I said anything.
Yeah.
Moving on.
You would. Apple Watch Pro comes out with promotion, and you're the first person.
I don't want to pay full price. If
Yeah,
I
of
could
course.
that's why I have the Apple Card.
Yeah.
I pay 97%
So
every time.
I am so impressed with the discounts that I see from Best Buy and Amazon lately, from just like not even that old, like AirPods or what have you, or something that's they're refurbished, or something that's not even refurbished. It's just, you guys got your Apple TVs for, you guys.
That was incredible.
Loving every second
Like-
of it.
I missed that.
It's so great.
I got it for 2 days and then we left.
It's such fun. You're missing out,
Yeah.
Drew.
Well, you have something to go home to when it's time to go back. And I realize that's the beauty of patience. Something that I could work on in my own life, really. Patience. I've told you guys, Drew and I have talked very extensively on this, that if the opportunity presents itself that the iPhone 13 mini is still for sale at a discounted rate, and even more so if it's not even on Apple, I might pick one up out of principle because I love the phone that much, and the 13 mini specifically because I like the camera features for what it does. The Pro may very well still be my main daily, but I gotta be honest, man. The Pro Max, as much as I love it, that sucker is heavy. I am tired of always having that in my pocket. When I go for walks, at night it cools down, and I go for long walks. That thing's just slapping up against my thigh, and I'm like, oh my god, stop! I hate it. So I just end up holding it.
It does that to me too.
So I just hold it in my hand, and I sweat all over it. I feel gross. The Mini never had that problem. Don't even know it's there. So on my own, voting with my dollar principle, like I would probably pick up a Mini for the right price. But all that to say, though, a Mac Studio at some, oh, hey, they're selling this version. Is it the top of this or the top two? Probably not, but a $1,700 Mac Studio is still a Mac Studio for $1,700. Woo!
That's an M1 Max chip, which means 32 gigs of RAM.
Way cheaper than this
512 gigs.
beauty right here. Yeah, that's amazing. So, would you consider, Mike, or Drew, this is for you as well. Would you consider at any point of when you want to upgrade away from something, waiting until it goes down in price? Meaning, there probably is something better that's out there that took its place, but you can accept, yeah, I don't need that one anymore. Because I do feel that way with my phone and the Mac. I mean, if I can feel that way with my watch and the iPad, why not? And I did it with Mac. The only thing with the problem was the phone, but I'm trying to roll that over. Why not Mac? Why not accessories? The only physical limitation is like AirPods Pro, for example. The battery is just an issue. That is a fact. That's just objectively a fact. It's an issue.
That's right.
So I don't want to wait for something better if the battery's still crap. But for other things, that's a display that's gonna be plugged into the wall, waiting to get a Mac Studio display and the Mac Studio itself, and maybe out the door you're spending, I don't know, $2,500 for a whole package or something. That's something I'm like, okay, sure. There's a Mac Pro, but do I need it? No.
No one needs a Mac Pro. There are just companies with write-offs that will justify a Mac Pro.
Otherwise, they lose their funding or something. Like, if we don't spend it, we'll lose it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. For
I just want to meet someone that's... Someone's working with the M1 Ultra chip right now, the non-binned one, and they're just like, this is so slow. God. My goodness. Can they please make something
Where's
faster
this
than
quantum computer that they're talking about? It's supposed to come out next week. I was supposed to be able to render
So wait, how do you summarize Mike's... you were asking Mike a question. If he would consider a refurbished Mac Studio, right?
Not even a refurbished, but like would you, instead of... Because you said that, all right, here's the... You listed your pros for a Mac Studio itself. If you see something that seems to be of... whatever the threshold is for you to be like, yeah, okay, that's a good price, objectively. The same way you saw the Apple TV. Apply that same hunt, or even if you just cross your path, apply that same process of elimination, this deduction that you did to be like, okay, I'm pulling the trigger on this. I'm even going to get one for Drew. We'll figure out later on the back end, but this we can't miss this opportunity, right? That same filter that you did with other things, would you pull the trigger then, or would you wait until the iMac in this specific scenario is just like, it's not going to work with my new setup that I'm trying to do. It's crapping out for whatever reason. Or do you just be like, no, I don't mind buying the latest and greatest, so that way I have the headspace for the next 5-7 years? Would you mind just investing all that up front because you get that much more lifespan? The shelf life of that is still going to be newer or longer.
So what I weigh in my head right now is, what do I use most and what needs the upgrade? And currently right now, this needs to be upgraded. The 11 Pro is needing retirement. It needs to be retired with the good old S7 Edge and the Pixel 2 XL. It needs to be part of this brick stack that I've got on the corner of my desk. That's the priority, and that's going to cost me $1,000 or whatever they're going to price the Pro at. That's the focus. But there is the allure of that studio. Yeah, if it goes kind of the same like the Apple TV did on Amazon, where it's like, oh yeah, we're selling this for, I don't know, $1,500 or something like that for the binned one. That's not a bad deal, and that's basically the same price that I paid for this iMac with 1 terabyte. I'd probably want to spec up the Mac Studio to also have 1 terabyte because that's something I use all the way up mostly, or I'm fine with that capacity, and I'm willing to delete stuff if it gets a little bit too full, but like 512 gigabytes is just a little bit too restricting. Anyways, it is a possibility, but my headspace right now is what needs the upgrade. I guess I'm thinking a little more responsible. I'm a little bit more responsible with my technology right now, thinking about what do I need. Do I need the studio? No. Do I want it? Yes. But what needs that upgrade first? And it's definitely the iPhone. And then from there, maybe the watch. It would be nice. But the Mac would probably be the next thing because the iPad's already been upgraded, right? With the mini, it went from this big 12-inch down to, was it 9-inch or whatever?
8.3.
8.3.
You're good for iPads.
Yeah.
You're set for years, for the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good.
So, yeah, I don't need anything new, but that would be the next thing. This hierarchy would be iPhone, watch, and then maybe a new Mac. But for right now, the Mac works perfectly fine besides the I/O. And the I/O I can get around. I'm not using everything all the time. I'm not trying to use this MIDI keyboard while using the Stream Deck, while also looking at an SD card footage while also doing something else. I can easily unplug and replug. It's just a minor inconvenience. But if that studio gets down to like 15,000 or less, that's when I'd probably pull the trigger.
He said 15,000. I know what you
Yes,
meant,
15,000. No, I meant that 15,000 or less. So it's already there.
You're thinking Mac Pro pricing now.
Can I drive it? Yeah.
Can
15.
you
Sorry,
It should have wheels.
1,500. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, I like the way you're thinking. You have
Thank
like a priority arrangement of your ecosystem of like what needs my attention, and it's inspired me because now I'm trying to think like that because I spent all my life savings on Apple products last year. I blew everything on 256 gig Pro Max and Steel Series 7.
8 terabyte.
You had to sell a lot of Tesla stock for it.
No, not really. But, I've never sold a single share. I had to get the 8 terabyte MacBook Pro. I didn't have to, but I got the 8 terabyte MacBook Pro. So I kind of went all out last year, and now I'm intentionally trying to pull back and just be like, now let's go for longevity. Let's see how long these products can last and how they age instead of just buying the same stuff over and over again. So I'm trying to figure out what is my ladder, like upgrade priority list, what will need to be addressed the soonest. And I don't have a good first choice, to be honest.
I think the
don't
watch
know
would
if
come
it's-
first. Yeah, for you. The watch would be the next.
Why the watch?
Promotion.
I'm interested. Oh, because it's 60 hertz. Yeah, that's a good point.
Listen, you painted that persona for yourself. I'm just holding you accountable.
No, you're right. You're right. I just don't think there's no solution for that. Like, we know the 14 Pro is coming out, and that's going to be better than Mike's 11 Pro.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully.
he can naturally just say, yes, this is an improvement. I'll get that. I've not seen a single Ross Young or anybody leaker talk about 120 hertz coming to the watch because most people don't prioritize that as much as I do. So they're like, who cares? It's a watch. People have
display.
been, people have always on displays, and like the biggest complaint I see with the Apple Watch every year is battery life, and that hasn't changed. Every single year, it's like, I want the battery life to be better. I want the battery life to be better. And 120 hertz would be just objectively worse for the battery life.
But if they make
Even
it
if
bulky,
it's ProMotion.
then it's capable of retaining the same battery life as that one that you've got on your wrist right now, but it can deliver ProMotion, and it's just a tiny bit thicker.
It could, but we're kind of grasping at straws because there's been no rumor of that. It's just a theoretical. I think if Apple had the choice of maintaining battery life and giving ProMotion versus increasing battery life and keeping it to 60 hertz, they would likely choose the increased battery life option just because that's much higher in demand from what I can tell. So I hope the
Then
Series
why
8
haven't they done it yet, Drew?
I think they're limited on space. They don't know how to cram any more crap into this thing. It's tiny.
Wow.
They don't have much space to work with here, but I do think I'm getting more and more interested by day in this Pro Display upgrade. That isn't really in my ladder because I don't really have an external monitor right now, but Ross Young doubling down on the refresh rate stuff gives me hope of like, okay, he was right about the MacBooks. Hopefully he'll be right about this, and that would be really tempting, especially if the price was good. But
So you'd say monitor
I guess
and
that's
then
my-
watch is probably the run.
Sure. The watch is like a caveat though, because it's like I don't know when they're gonna fix that. So it's not really
Fix.
when are they gonna fix the Apple Watch display? I would just love to get to a point in my life where like basically every display I used was 120 hertz. That's the end
Oh, just
goal.
wait until you get the Tesla.
There's currently no there's currently no Tesla or EV of any kind that offers that, unfortunately. But I could see I'm actually more concerned about like the 11 Pro is not that old, but Mike's having issues with his. It's 3 years old now?
Got in
Almost?
January of 2020. So yeah, about 2.5.
It's like 2.5. And you're having shutdown issues and responsiveness
It'll
issues.
freeze randomly.
And that makes me concerned, like,
It's tough.
is that the shelf life of these things? Like, you use them for like 2.5 years and then it gets just so buggy, it's not worth, like, that's concerning.
The other day,
That's not that long.
what was it? We were going somewhere. I was trying to plug in something on Apple Maps, and it just it would recognize point A and point B, but it would not like do like, oh yeah, you're on this route and it's following you. It just wouldn't. I'd disengage the route and re-engage the route, and it's just like, nah, I'm not going to. I'd tap every setting to be like, oh, maybe it's like the north-south compass thing or something else. No, it just didn't want to. So that's the main
I
focus.
don't really feel like it.
Basically, it's being a little something right now.
I know people with much older phones that are still using them, and without much, like my mom is still using an iPhone 10, and she replaced the battery in it when the battery got bad. But other than that, she says it's fine, and she still uses it regularly. And I have a family friend that's still rocking an iPhone 6, not a 6S.
It's old.
But he's just chugging along, still using it, and he's like, yeah, it works great, I'm happy with it. And I'm like, that inspired me. I was really impressed because I realized that's over like half of all iPhone generations ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're on 13, soon to be 14, and he's on 6. And he's still like, yep, it's
Wow.
good for me, good enough. Like, I can live with this. Like, as long as we've had iPhones, that phone that he's using launched in 2014. First iPhone was 2007. So 7 years in, and now we're at 2022. So coming up on 6. He's at like the halfway point of all iPhone existence, and he's content and he's happy with it. So that's what I was striving for, is like, I want to see if I can be one of those guys that just lives with an iPhone 13 for like years and years and years, and just see how it ages after all that time.
Just see
But
how
the kind of stuff
happy
that's
they
happening to
are.
Mike happens.
Yeah, so the thing is, the problem why you'll never be happy with this is because you just know too much.
I'm happy with
No, 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 no. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're lying. You know too much.
You're lying.
You're lying. You're lying.
Oh my.
I love this phone.
Imagine.
I dropped it on concrete yesterday.
Whoa.
Woo!
He actually dropped a phone for once? Not on
Well,
purpose?
technically, it slipped out of my pocket. I was trying this. I think it's called a tandem bicycle.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
like
2
you
seats.
crank, but you're laying back.
Oh,
Well, there's not. Oh no, not tandem. That's not it. The kind of
Recline
bike
bike.
that has like a full-on seat.
I think.
It's like a 3-wheeled bike.
recumbent.
It's really cool,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
recumbent,
I
but, like,
gotcha. Yeah.
Recumbent.
Recumbent, that's the word. You sit back on it. So I was sitting back on it, and it's a really cool bike, and I had these workout clothes on, so the pockets weren't very deep. So I was pedaling it around, and the phone just slipped out of my pocket, and it was on cement, and it was like... and everyone was like... and I was like... Ceramic shield.
Oh my
It's
god.
okay. So I picked it up, and it's fine. absolutely no issues with the glass. I noticed a little tiny scuffing with the steel, but I don't look at the steel because it's all fingerprinty anyway. Even when I don't drop my phone, the steel looks ugly. So the scuffs are fairly minor. They're not easy to notice unless I point them out. But the glass was all fine. Cameras still work and everything. But I'm just saying, like, durability, the water resistance, the camera performance, the battery, like, even though I hit 99% of battery health
Oh,
on
no.
this trip.
Ew.
I
Oh,
was like,
God.
Better throw it out.
Oh,
My
It's
turn.
completely useless.
all that value
Where am
gone.
I at?
I tweet that out because people love to ask me that. People are like, what's the battery health at? What's the battery? So I tweeted it out. For some reason, people seem to think that if I tweet out my battery health, that means I want you to tweet at me your battery health. I
Obviously.
should be more clear about that. I do not care about your battery health, my battery health, or anyone's battery health. I'm just putting it out there because people ask, and out of curiosity, Mike said
77.
It dies every day. I
Yeah.
need to charge it twice.
I'm confident in saying that my phone could get to 70% battery health or lower, and it would still probably last me through the day.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of how
a huge
good
battery.
the battery life is on this thing. So, no, Randy. I am happy with my phone.
No, you're not, and I'll tell you why.
No.
No, you're not.
Imagine.
Why am I not? All the people.
Imagine. So you see this
Demonetized.
guy walking around with an iPhone 6, blissfully unaware of the world around him. Okay?
And he's happy.
And he's
he has
happy.
so much more money than I do.
And he's happy,
He's buying Ferraris.
but he's ignorant. He knows less than you. Hear me out.
So?
Hear me out.
I don't think he does, to be honest. He worked on app. This is the guy I've told stories
Drew,
about.
will you
My
hear
friend
me out
Ross.
for a second?
No, I need to interrupt you on this. I'm sorry. It's it's my friend Ross. His dad is an architect. He worked on the Steve
architects
Jobs
don't know
Theater.
anything.
Okay.
He uses an iPhone 6.
I thought he had an iPhone 7.
He downgraded.
I don't know who that. I don't know. No, he didn't. He's had the same phone for 6 years. But,
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I'll stop interrupting.
imagine you, and only you, find out exactly how the earth is going to end and when. and it's and it's in our lifetime. And you have to walk around with that knowledge while the rest of us blissfully unaware just fighting over which charging port is better for a car and is
There's no fight there.
is or should people
Obviously.
fight about politics or people fight about and all this stuff and you know how and when. That's you with the knowledge of iPhone while Ross is blissfully unaware of his walking.
His dad.
Oh, his
Yeah.
dad. Ross's dad is walking around with an iPhone 6, blissfully unaware while you're over here like, I see shades of colors you couldn't even imagine.
Purple.
Purple.
Purple. Oh, I've never even heard that word. Yeah, make it rhyme. You can't because it's so far out of your scope.
No, I mean,
You can't be
doesn't
happy
see
because
those.
you can't be happy with what you got because you know too much. You're too close to the source. You're too close to the fire. It's like being unplugged from the matrix to seeing what's really going on, and then going back into the matrix with all memory, knowing what's going on. No, you know what to anticipate and what to kind of navigate with now, while everyone else is just blissfully unaware, of how dumb they really are. Okay, so. You'll always have a bit of a craving, and so will Mike, and so will me, and so everybody who's listening to this podcast, because that's what we have in common is this knowledge of it. And what's better than knowledge? A garage full of Lamborghinis. Knowledge. Okay, I think we
that's
hit
a good point. I understand where you're coming from.
Purple.
You
The
don't you
logic of
Purple
Don't you
rhymes
shut me
with
down.
purple. I got it. This whole time I was trying to figure out what rhymes with purple.
Oh, that's what he was doing. I was like, why is Mike talking to him?
I thought he was
Now I know.
constipated.
It happens sometimes as well.
No,
Too
like,
much.
I want to be more blissfully. It's not unaware. It's just blissfully uninterested. Like, I'm sure that the iPhone 14 and 15 and 16 will have advantages and they will have improvements, but I want to be the kind of guy that just isn't that
Not gonna
interested
happen.
in those improvements.
Impossible. Your ear canal has been sculpted to fit the original AirPod because you've worn it so long because you're that indoctrinated. It's impossible. It's in your blood. Your body took the
Well,
shape.
you're right about the ear thing.
Yeah, I know. Your body took the shape of an Apple product. That's how in it you are.
But this is very heavy and very thick, and the 14 is just going to be even worse. You know, it's going to get thicker and heavier.
That's what I'm very sad about.
I already. Feel
I mean,
like this
so
is
am I,
too
but
thick.
you don't see, my wife trying to walk around and upgrade me. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Upgrade you.
I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Try these
she's not
heels.
home yet, is she?
No, not yet. That's what she's about to be home. That's why I'm getting him out now.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I don't have to carry Randy around every day. Yet.
Bless
We
you.
might get there. Bless you.
Because Randy's small enough to fit in your pocket, right?
Yeah,
Thank you,
pocket Randy Mini. Well, we're getting Randy Mini later this year, but in terms,
All right, got another new nickname from. Yeah.
we gotta. That could be his legal name on his birth certificate. Randy
If he
Mini.
weighs a
Don't you
bunch,
mean
then he's
junior?
lowercase.
Lowercase M.
Nope. Mini.
Randy Air.
Is that just him breathing out?
I'm gonna do a keynote in September and launching later this
We are
fall.
introducing
I am so excited. and he's
another member to the Vasquez family.
and he's coming with macOS.
We need to make this happen. Make a pseudo
Oh my
event
God.
video. Go from
Everybody's
Drew
always
to
doing
me.
That's
baby.
real.
Everyone's doing baby photos of them wrapped up in their blanket with the little calendar next. I'm gonna put him next to macOS, and it's like,
You know how they have the super fancy like Apple logos in the invites?
Yeah.
You should make like a really artistic, like elegant, minimal, like binky.
With the
And it's
iPad.
like,
I love
it's
it.
time.
I love it.
You're invited. You're.
I'm writing that down right now.
it.
I'm okay. That's gonna happen.
I just envision like an event like Drew being Tim. Hello, we're excited today for this event, and we're gonna take it to Randy to talk about.
We're gonna take it to Brittany now. It cuts to Brittany. I've been, growing another human being inside of me over the past. She's like walking back and forth.
And then Randy introducing the baby, and then me being like John
Wow.
in the underground area talking about
I'll have, like,
performance.
a,
The performance
yeah.
of this baby.
like intelligence per pound, and it's like a graph.
Power.
He
The power graph of the baby.
and currently going at very low emissions.
It's very high emissions
Yeah.
right now.
Lower emissions, food consumption,
The amount
entertainment
of
value.
diapers per day.
That's the. This is our chart. Yeah, I got a whole event. Spring loaded. Spring, unleashed. California dreaming.
Oh, I want that. That's gonna be my baby shower theme. I'm gonna see if it's too late.
Okay.
Can I do it?
It's not too late. You get some attention for that online. Apple themed baby shower. But
Good morning. Good
Good
morning. Wow.
Held in
Wow.
California.
First
in
words.
Cupertino.
yeah. I'm so excited to introduce a new baby today.
I grab someone else's baby, starts crying. Oh, let's go to backup here.
Let's go to How cool is that?
How cool is that?
Jeez.
Oh.
It has instant on with crying. in the middle of the
One more thing.
It's a good.
night. You have.
It's a good sleep
Do we
tracker.
have a?
Because you'll know how long you're. Go ahead.
So I guess my list is likely monitor, watch, or phone if the phone starts acting up, followed by laptop. Does Randy have a hierarchy, like a list of here's what's most likely to be upgraded next, and then this? And
I'm
then
gonna upgrade the iPad to being non-existent.
That's an upgrade, apparently.
So we got to do that.
I'm gonna do that. I like how it got darker outside, so now the lighting on me looks better. That kind of irritates me.
That's a good upgrade.
that the
Stage
camera did.
light.
It's a good upgrade.
Yeah.
So okay, okay. I mean, priority of what to upgrade. Is this something that I currently own, or is there something that I would keep an eye out as well?
Sure, I don't have a monitor, but I put it up there so you can do things you don't own, I guess.
Okay. Of things that of importance, I would like to. I would really consider getting if Apple revisited the airport thing that they did with their.
Oh, okay. Upgrade the Wi-Fi.
I wish I got to experience that because everyone who experienced it loved it, and that seems.
I saw one at a thrift store the other day.
Man,
And you
isn't
didn't
that
buy
old?
it.
It's thrift store worthy.
Call yourself
Man,
an
it's
Apple
Too
sheep.
dated to be.
So I don't know if that'd be
It's
the
not
first thing,
useful
but that's
anymore.
definitely something I would want to see come back, because the other thing I wanted to see come back was the studio display, or the cinema display we were calling it. Like bring back the cinema display, and
it's back.
it's back. I would do the higher end display.
Twice the pixels, twice the price.
Right.
That'd be a good tagline.
Twice the, not regret, but twice the.
Twice the
Yeah,
I like. No, yeah.
Double the
that's
pride,
it.
double
That's
the fall.
that's it.
double the. Good.
I've been looking forward to this.
Me watching every Apple event.
I would do a pro display, probably as like the most relevant one.
Okay.
If I was
Gotcha.
able to have the perfect setup,
Mhm.
I'd get a Mac, a Studio Mac or a Mac Mini,
Mm.
a proper, like behind the scenes server type of
Mac
system.
Studio's the best I/O a Mac has ever had.
Yeah.
Mac Pro crying in the
brilliant.
corner.
It doesn't even have an SD card slot. That's why it's crying.
If a MacBook came out with cellular, that would be my immediate number one priority.
Ooh.
That's my
Okay.
priority. If
gotcha.
it doesn't come out, display would be right there. So depending on how that rotation works, that's competing with number one slot. We talked about it last week.
Watching phone or like.
I think we talked. No,
pushed
we
out?
we talked about this last week. I think on the show. I need sapphire glass on my Apple Watch. That's actually.
Oh yeah.
That's
Same.
That's probably more realistically what would be the next upgrade, even though I don't want it to be.
I have abused this thing so much.
You have to be proud
It's
about it.
Been demolished. I'm flexing my abuse.
You took
I
it.
dropped my phone.
Yeah, you get hurt by iPad OS, and you took it out on the rest of your products. Yeah. Dad.
Every time me and my wife are out, she's left-handed, so she has her watch on the other arm. Whenever we go walking, our two watches will clank together. They go.
Have you ever thought about
No,
switching sides?
because she's always his right hand girl.
That's right.
So
Because
left.
if you're holding hands with the watch, then you don't get the right activity motion. It doesn't track the steps.
You're
as
not a
accurately
pendulum.
So
as
have her walk on the right hand side, so you can swing your hand.
Mhm.
So your watches wouldn't clack. Both your guys'
Oh yeah.
have
No, they do when we're like crossing. Usually we stop holding hands when that happens.
I see.
We're like, oh, we gotta switch.
Then there's no hope. You're doomed. Yeah, there's no hope.
But they're both fine. She's got the sapphire, so do I. So it's indestructible.
Again,
I
flexing the
would love to
abuse.
see a sapphire glass come to the iPhone. That would be so cool.
It would be worse for drops,
Yes.
but better for. Yeah. So you're saying I just won't drop it. That's what I would.
You say that.
I
but
don't
you-
drop
Mine,
it.
yeah. Mine might have cracked if it was sapphire, but
But it
Maybe
did
I
it.
would get a case in that. It didn't. There's some back here. That's some sapphire infused lenses.
And
That's
I
what those
love
are.
it. And I love it.
So
every
Randy, then your
moment of
list
it.
is display / phone.
No,
Airport.
no. If we're talking about next in line,
Airport.
it would probably have to be the watch.
Okay.
The watch would have to be next in line, just because
The sapphire.
the
yeah.
sapphire glass is a practical thing.
So you think of the current? Maybe this is a better way to answer the question. Of your current ecosystem, what will last the longest? Don't count the iPad. That's its own thing.
In the ecosystem, the thing that will last the longest is the MacBook for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless a 5G one becomes available, and then
It's not for me. I would
Spider-Man?
get some later version of that. I want it out there as soon as possible. But if they're trying to do their own modem in house, do what you got to do. I have
Refurbished.
every intent of running this thing to the ground for the next 5 years minimum. Yeah.
we're all just beating the crap out of our tech.
Yeah. Unless there's some
Okay.
issue that comes up that we get some M1 recall, the way they did the
Ooh.
butterfly keyboard situation with.
Oh, yeah.
If something
That would
happened, then it's like, okay, let's do what we got to do. But unless there's some type of recall or batteries are blowing up or whatever, I will hold on to this for a very, very long time.
Yeah, I think that's the contract I signed with my wife when we agreed to buy this MacBook. Was that
Those are blood
it was
binding.
going to last me
You
5
had to
years
sign as
minimum.
well
Yeah.
on like his
Mhm.
Apple Pencil as
Wet.
well.
Wet signature
On the
It
iPad.
was like, I promise I'm not buying this to replace it within the next 2 years. Like just like the
2
iMac
years
Pro
and one
lasted
day
me
later.
a long time. 2 years. No, the contract I did was 5, I think. So I got till 2026 October before I think about buying another Mac. So Apple has 4 years, a little over 4 years, to make the iMac Studio that Mike was describing.
Oh
earlier.
yeah.
That's what I want.
Have you heard about this, Randy?
That's
this
what would
idea?
get me to upgrade.
If I somehow had any weight with Apple, I would recommend this next evolution in Macs being like either a Mac Mini or Studio with handles or like trusses coming out of it up to a 32 or 27-inch display, kind of like
Picture the Surface Studio.
picture the Surface
Yeah.
Studio, but basically everything there turns into a Mac besides, I guess, the support structure for it. But the Studio display connecting up to the Mac Studio connecting up to a display that is also touch sensitive like an iPad. And then you could also have
An Apple Pencil to connectivity. You just drop it on the side of the iMac magnetically, and it switches to iPad OS when you fold it down. So you've got touch optimized OS, and you could have a full function key and numeric pad virtual keyboard pop up. You know, it's like the full length, all the options. Then you can draw, and it's 120 hertz. And then you're like, okay, Mac time, and then you just swivel it up, and it turns back into a Mac. Oh, I'm just imagining it in my head, and it looks and sounds amazing. It would probably be very fingerprinty, but I would just get the special cloth made of chinchilla fur or whatever. That you gotta clean it.
I love it.
I would not get it in midnight.
not space gray then either.
No, silver. I still regret that every day. I should have got the silver MacBook.
My
Pro.
biggest regret in life, it was not doing
Yep.
skydiving or anything else.
Why? Why do you regret not getting silver?
I saw it in the store, and I was like, wow, that looks so much better. And I wanted it I wanted silver, but I was in such a hurry to configure the MacBook Pro I ordered. I left it on space gray because that's in like a different section. It's not in like the configurator page. And by the time I had placed my order and realized I got space gray, the ship times had already slipped back, and then I got the Apple Card cashback thing.
Yeah.
So it was like, it was going to cost me $160 to switch to silver. And I was like, okay, I don't like it that much, but if I could have done the whole thing over again, it just contrasts so much nicer. Like the black keyboard with the silver aluminum. I was looking at one at the store and I was just like, oh, that looks so clean. And space gray's fine. You know, it's grayer, as Justin Long refers to it.
It's fine, just
But-
rare.
It's I would take space gray over midnight at this point after seeing how oily and fingerprinty and how much dust shows up on midnight, but silver's the best MacBook color. I should have gotten silver. Oh well.
You have to live with
But-
that regret for 5 years.
5 years and then I can fix it. I'd probably get another MacBook by then because the iMac Studio is a pipe dream. But Apple listens to all our shows, so I'm just throwing it out there, just letting them know.
Yep.
You could put the SD card slot on the side. Oh, it would.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
that would be so clean.
That would work.
That's the dream Mac now.
It would work. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up July, tech audience. We'll stay tuned for August, where we'll count down the most disappointing iPhone upgrade
Scusi?
yet. And
This is gonna be the most exciting upgrade ever for me.
Mike will tell us all about his iPhone 14.
It's got
Yeah.
a larger camera sensor. And that's it.
I'm all about it.
Understatement of the year. Larger doesn't begin to describe it. All right, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Bye.